One. Hi, favored ones. Welcome to Soul Talk. Our guest for today is Mike Uy. Actually, si Mike, classmate and super close friend ko from my MBA days. And the last time that we've talked was almost 10 years ago. Diba? Almost 10 years ago because we graduated 2013. February of 2013, we graduated from LaSalle MBA. And Mike is siguro parallel ko if you think about it. Parang both of us grew up privileged and we're doing a lot of things trying to put ourselves in life. And of course, there's always the fact that we want to achieve something great in this life. So, let's talk to Mike. Kasi right now, you all know I'm going through such a transformation at LaSalle. And Mike also, I'm sure, has gone through a lot of things. So there must be something that's worth sharing at right now. And of course, I'd like to introduce you to Mike and welcome him to Soul Talk. Hi Mike. Kumusta ka?
Hello, everybody. Hello to all the viewers of Soul Talk. Such an
Oo.
honor to be here with my good friend Brendy. And to be honest, coming into this interview, I was dreading it a little bit kasi not really in a good, you know how we are with our lives. Parang gulong yan eh,
Mm-mm.
ups and downs. And lately, I haven't really been in a good spot. And so I was a bit concerned that I might not have anything worthwhile to share to the viewers, despite everything that's in my CV and all. And now coming into this show today, of course, seeing Brandy again for after such a long time, and us realizing how, again, like she said, parallel we are, and definitely feels like this is no accident that I'm here today. It's my birthday in a few days, and this is such a nice reflective day and episode for leading up to my birthday. So thank you very much for having me, Brandy.
Sure, it's not really it's no coincidence because every time I would think of sino bang i-guess ko. I always pray. I always ask God, who's the best person to talk? And then sometimes I'd be surprised when I wake up, okay, this person. Parang, talaga? Meron siguro kami pinagdadaanan ngayon na medyo pareho. So, I'm not, even if I'm going in blind, kasi I'm not sure what's happening right now. The last thing I know of you is that you're working for, of course, for your dad, diba, sa family business. And you've also been doing your own things. Maybe you would
Mm.
like to talk about that, kung saan mo talaga pinopour yung energy mo right now.
Okay. Well, short version. Three main things going on in my life. There were four, but I forgot the fourth one. Remember, so just three. For the real job, the serious one, is vice president of Ford Tractor Philippines, the family business, which is an importer distributor of farm equipment. Side business, passion project, 22 Thatcher Philippines, 22 Thatcher Barbershop Cafe is a passion project in Cebu. It's a lifestyle boutique for gentlemen and basically everybody who likes specialty stuff like coffee, whiskey, and pomades. Of course, good grooming. Also part of JCI Manila, which is a social civic organization of young leaders, basically people who want to make a difference, who want to do good for society. It's a really, really good group, and that's the that's I think that's the three main things um, in terms of what I'm doing with my time outside of like leisure and all my other hobbies and stuff. So that's me in three main things.
Oo. Pero kasi kung JCI, I'm sure up to now, very active pa rin. Kasi hindi naman natatapos yung mga projects sa JCI,
Mm.
right? Continuously serving. Pero ano yung main theme ng what kind of services JCI Manila more focused on right now? Or is it quite diverse ba?
Mm. The meat of JCI Manila's projects are in community development projects. So a bulk of the work that they try to do and the bulk of their projects, majority of their projects, are into serving underprivileged uh, people, not just in Manila or NCR, but around the country. So everything from health and sanitation to education to uh, community building, livelihood programs, assistance to the handicap programs, service to indigenous people and opportunities for indigenous people. And dami. I mean, if I run through the entire list, that's a whole different talk. But essentially, we do about maybe 200, something about 200 projects per year. Each
Oh,
project is
that's a lot.
different. Yeah, and the great thing about doing all that work is we also get to partner up with a lot of special organizations. Like for example, LaSalle. We were talking about LaSalle, diba? We partnered up with LaSalle for a project called RVR Awards, which is the Ramon V. Del Rosario Awards. It's very prestigious. Past winners are Henry C., MVP, Don Jaime Isabel de Ayala, to name a few. These are people who are given the award for nation building, for their exemplary contribution to nation building in the Philippines. So, yon sila Sal is part of the panel of judges.
Ah,
Yes. Sila rin yung nag-pilot ng Siklab Awards with us. This is under RVR. Siklab Awards is for the younger generation naman. So people, kasi syempre itong mga luminaries na to, they're all super accomplished and ano na, di ba? Medyo mature age group na sila. Mga boss
yes.
na kumbaga. Sa
Oo.
age naman natin, we have Siklab Awards for people in our group. And yun, same criteria. Ang galing. Like we were able to identify a lot of people who do a lot of work. Like for example, one guy runs a bee farm and provides livelihood to his communities and to other people who want to use it as, you know. And then there's Melissa Yap who runs like a whole grab organization that benefits so many, ang gagaling ng mga tao sa na nakilala namin based on that. And it's all thanks to, of course, partner orgs like Finma is the sponsor. They're the company
Mm.
owned by
Yes.
the Del Rosarios. And
Mm.
so yun.
Amazing. How did you how did you think of joining JCI? Parang what's the story behind that? Kasi hindi
Mm,
naman, I mean, siguro for most people, if I would be the cynic na the jaded person, it's, most people would want to join JCI or Rotary because of the network. But then you're also talking about, the service, the community building, the projects, and there's also that passion when you talk about it. So what led to that? What's the story behind that?
is I think for most people, what they will discover at some point in their life is it's always going to be incomplete if you don't really do anything to serve others. If you just keep serving yourself
Mm.
and chasing your own dreams, diba? Which is, I mean, there's nothing wrong with
Mm.
that. There's nothing wrong with
Mm.
going after what you
Mm.
want. That's diba? So that you become a much happier and better person for others. There's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, at some point, usually when you turn siguro mid-20s, that's when you realize na parang wait lang, may kulang. Yeah,
Oo.
okay, yeah, we do certain, we give donations and we do the occasional outreach and project and whatnot. Pero may kulang eh, na knowing that you haven't really put your footprint in terms of serving the less fortunate. And
Yes.
syempre, if you're gonna do it on your own, parang sige, mag-enjoy ka. Pero so much it's so much better if you do it as part of a group. More so if it's an established group already who has been around for generations, right? So
Oo.
JCI is one of the oldest serving social civic orgs, young leadership organizations in the Philippines. It's been around since the end of World War II. So with a heritage and history like that, parang, sige guys, turuan nyo na lang ako kung paano. Para alam ko yung tama, di ba? Let's leverage all our resources. Di ba? And true enough, when I entered, na-realize ko parang, oh shit, ang daming magaling. Syempre,
Mm-mm.
you enter, you're like, oh, I am qualified. Diba? I have this, I have that. Here's my CV. Here are all my qualifications. Diba? They look good on
Oo.
paper. When you get there, you're like, okay, there's a lot of things going on here that one, I can learn, and two, I can help further. So when you get there, it's just like, boom, this is the place I need. And so between 2000, I want to say 2000, I was active for a while, but between 2015 to 2019,
Mm-mm.
that window was when really a lot of my time just sometimes di na niya na makikita sa office kasi talagang talagang I went balls deep talaga in the org, as in bigay, and sobrang fulfilling, just like with a lot of seasons and episodes in our life, diba? It had its um, part to play in my life, and yun, sobrang worth it.
Oo.
I can't explain everything, but for
I
if
know,
anyone's
but
interested, just Google it, JCI Manila. Look for someone you know who is a member, and just ask them, because it's a whole different conversation. But I hope I
yeah.
was able to
Pero
share
nagigets
enough.
ko, nagigets ko yung sinasabi mo na when you were in your mid-20s,
Mm,
parang may
mm.
kulang. I also experienced that.
Care to share?
Nakakatawa.
Care to share?
So parang,
I'm also very curious about,
ano,
'cause again, we're both jack of all trades, diba? We're both
yes.
same background. I want to know about your journey. Where was it? What was the point where you felt that something was missing, and what was it, and what did you do to address
O
that?
sige. O sige. Heads up ko lang ha. Okay, those who are watching, it's Mike and I agreed that we'll both parang ask questions from each other rather than me just asking questions from him. So, kaya parang saluhan kami ngayon.
It's time to know our
It's
host a little bit better. Don't we all want to get to know Brandy a little bit more? And now here's our chance. Brandy, please tell us your story.
grabe 10 years hindi tayo nagkwentuhan ng ganito dati. Iba kasi yung pinag-uusapan natin. It's
Go to
always school
school.
related,
Brandy was our class president. I was the vice president. And so we had this bond of suffering together through an entire term.
Talagang
Once,
serving.
diba?
Serving talaga.
And
Oo.
once, kasi that's the kind of bond that when you go through it with somebody, even if you don't really see them or talk to them on
Mm-mm.
a regular basis, that bond is, I think, for life. Diba?
Yes.
That's
Oo.
forever etched into my subconscious. Those 3 months of
Oo, grabe, no?
yeah.
Grabe
So
yun.
anyway,
Grabe
Brandy,
yun.
you were telling us about your turning point.
Yes. Actually, ang turning point ko was also mid-20s. I was also working at corporate and I felt that there's something missing. There's really something missing. So, parang ako very extreme eh. Parang pag hindi ko na gusto, hindi ko na gusto. Ganyan.
Mm,
So, I
mm,
up and resigned
mm.
without any backup plans.
When
Wala,
was
wala
this?
talaga. This was back 2016.
Okay, okay. So a
So,
good 5 years ago, that's where you were. That's where you
tapos
were.
I went to China. So against my family's wishes, parang sabi ko, hindi, sige, aalis ako. I want to explore, I want to something different.
Right.
And after China, parang nagkaroon ako ng gap year. I did a lot of volunteer work.
Mm.
So, as in super daming different organizations,
Uh,
different institutions. I met a lot of people during that gap year. And after that gap year, I found work back in China. So 2 years lang naman yun. So alam mo yun,
mm.
parang jack of all trades talaga, going all over the place. And if you look at my CV, kung HR ka, parang sasabihin mo, ang gulo na babaeng to, ano nang pinaggagawa? As in, ano pinaggagawa? But
What made
then,
you take that leap from working a
just,
stable corporate job to
yeah.
going to
Because
China?
I just wanted to try something different. Wanted
Was
to
it
do something different.
was it a compelling feeling of wanting to try something different na, or was nabored ka
Oo.
ba, or
Yes. Pero yung
okay?
pinaka-turning point talaga was after China, I felt that okay, there's no future here. If
Uh,
I'm going to stay, yeah, I'll be earning money, but
uh,
then what's the point?
right.
Diba? What's the point? It will be just work.
So you weren't
And
growing. You weren't growing.
yes,
Right.
oo. So I came back to Manila and sabi ko, sige, revamp natin yung life natin. Ganyan. And the way to, my decision back then was, sige, MBA. MBA was my parang jump off point.
Mm.
And during MBA in LaSalle, that's when I also started my spiritual journey because LaSalle was
Mm.
very into pastoral formation, 'di ba? The
Right.
adult formation. So, um
I
that's
remember
when
the
I
silent retreats.
so the silent retreats that LaSalle has been offering to the graduate students, I really took those opportunities. And in taking those opportunities, I also was able to, get in touch again with Ateneo, with the
Mm.
Ignatian spirituality. So that's when I found out that my life really revolves around the spiritual world.
Mm.
So it started with religion, but then it grew. So, syempre, when it grew, dami ko rin na-meet. Different psychics, different spiritual practices. Um, Perhaps it's my Ignatian, it's my Ignatian influence na be open to the other practices. As long as you have faith, as long as you have that um, belief in higher power, then that's considered, uh, a form of divinity.
When choosing to
So,
explore a certain path, is it something that you feel you're being called to, or do you let yourself be swept by the tide? How does the process work for you normally?
ano, parating siya ng kusa,
Okay, and more of
you
parang
know?
when it
Yes. Kasi
comes, then you
when it
consider.
comes, when it comes and then I saw it, then
Mm.
that means that, okay, I'm ready for this. Then that's the time to take the path.
It's very
So
adventurous.
it is, it is. So
Mm.
ang dami ko rin natutunan in terms of spirituality, but then I was able to
Yes.
find my own niche, so to speak. It's
Mm.
really to do counseling. Um, Pinahalo ko na is psycho-spiritual counseling, intuitive counseling.
Mm.
So that brings me so much satisfaction and
Mm.
it brings me so much fulfillment as well.
So doon ka
So
dinala.
yun, doon ako dinala. And
Mm.
as I go deeper into my faith, as I become more spiritual, um, the gifts just open up. It just
Mm.
pours. So dumating lang ng ganyan. And now I'm doing this, diba? Soul Talk, it's really talk to other people and learn from them, you know, draw out the good things that they have
Mm.
done, their achievements, and learn from it. And
Mm.
of course, to share it to other people. Kasi,
Mm.
like what you've said earlier, parang yung mga guests ko, high profile or what. Pero, hindi rin eh. They're just normal people and it's just so happens that they really love what they do. That it talagang nag-brighten
Mm.
yung life nila because of that one thing that they do.
Mm.
And in your case, it's the same, diba? It's serving under JCI and that literally lit up your entire life, diba? Parang nabuhayan ka because of that. And
Mm.
that gave you meaning in life. So
Mm.
it's the same with me. Pero sa akin naman, it's more of sa counseling,
Counseling.
counseling and helping people regain that relationship with God.
Mm.
No matter what, ano man yung description nila or definition nila of who God is for them.
So do you feel
Yeah.
like all of these experiences really led you to becoming a counselor?
Mm-mm. Yes. And yun din yung reason kung bakit parang dinadala rin ako ulit sa Lasal. Kasi
Mm.
it's going to be intertwined. I am not yet, I am not yet that sure how it's going to turn out, but
Mm.
then being part of Lasal is an integral part of it as well. So
Mm.
it's really in my path. And of course, if it's in our path, diba, sometimes it's the largest obstacle that we have to go through.
Right.
Yun. Yun
Right.
yung
Right.
story. This is where I am right now.
So it went full
So
circle.
Oo, it's really
Left,
full
now you're
circle.
back.
Parang
But
gano'n
you're
sa life,
different.
'no? Oo,
Same
parang gano'n sa
place,
buhay.
but
Yeah.
but
I'm sure you could
different
also
you.
relate. I'm sure you
Definitely.
could also relate to that.
Definitely. It's it could be the same thing. It could be the exact same thing on a
Mm.
on a different day. But if you're a different person, it will make a whole world of difference. Just your perception alone, I think. Diba?
Yes.
Even if
Oo.
hindi, wala naman nagbago sa'yo, hindi ka naman magaling or you're not naman more successful. But just if it can be as simple as coming in with a different mindset, that can spell such a big difference.
Mm. Pero in you naman, sa experience mo, ano sa tingin mo yung parang biggest lessons that really help you shift your perception in life? Kasi as you've said, 'di ba, parang, the day can be the same, but because there's a change in perception, there's a change in mindset, the way you see
Mm.
things, then that day is no longer just a regular day. It has become something more special.
Mm.
'Di ba? So
Siguro,
ano yung mga lessons na naka-shift ng mga ano mo, ng the way you see life
mm,
itself?
two main, two big principles really changed the way I live my life. So just to give you guys an idea of um, where I came from, I've lived I would say, a relatively satisfying life. Naman, there's nothing wrong with it. Parang everything is okay naman if you look at it. No, but then for some reason, I've just been perpetually unsatisfied as a person, and my friends know this. My friends know that even if I am celebrating certain accomplishments and things to be happy about, it's just never really lingering and lasting for me. Parang I'm just always chasing the next big thing, the next grand adventure, and nakakapagod siya. Nakakapagod siya and nakakalungkot kasi when you go to bed at night, parang never ka satisfied talaga. And so that has been my journey for the past couple of years. And two main things. I wouldn't say I'm the same person anymore, just because of two main things. I mean, I'm still going through certain obstacles. I have problems. Right? Kaya sinabi ko right now, I'm not doing that well. But two things are saving my life right now. One is actually just one thing, and it's stoicism. I'll give you guys a brief background. I understand that not a lot of people are familiar with this, but if you guys have read or listened to the work of, let's say, Mark Manson or Ryan Holiday, or if you've encountered any videos that base from the works of Marcus Aurelius, Meditations, basically lang sinasabi niya ganito. All it takes to live a good life is just be a good person. I know it sounds super cliche, Brents, no? Siguro 5, 10 years ago, if I heard this, I'd just be like, "Oh, okay, okay, thanks." But if you think about it, kasi ako, ang dami kong, alam mo yung tayo as people kasi, ang dami nating nilalagay na noise around us eh. Na parang, okay, this is what I want in life. But why am I not getting it? Because we've covered it with so much dirt and grit and muck and our own personal bullshit that we ourselves have gotten in the way of, di ba? One is ayaw natin mahirapan, ayaw natin ng problema, iniiwasan natin, takot tayo sa criticism ng ibang tao, takot tayo sa opinion ng ibang tao, di ba? Ang dami. Wala tayo self-discipline, and now we're misusing technology, we're misusing social media. That's supposed to be for our advantage, but then we're using it to make ourselves depressed. We're listening to advertisements that don't make us feel good about ourselves, our bodies, and our where we are in our lives. And parang for me, enough. We're not supposed to care about any of those things. The only thing we're supposed to care about is doing good and becoming happy because we know that we always choose to do good regardless. Yung mga bagay na hindi natin makontrol, yeah, nakakainis, they suck, it's frustrating. Pero at the end of the day, they're not really supposed to make you feel bad because it's outside of your control. and we should just let it go. Kanina, we were having our pre-recording chat, diba? And napag-usapan natin yan about faith and surrender and about just letting things flow and trusting in the goodness of the universe, and that goodness will come to you. Ito yun eh, diba? Not enough of our time is spent just seeing things as they are, being mindful, being in the moment. Ang dami nating we're worrying about the things that didn't go so well yesterday, last week, last month, a few minutes ago. We're worried about what's gonna happen tomorrow and in the future. And right now it's Sunday. We're in our homes. We're supposed to be reflecting, but where are we? We're in Saturday. We're on Monday. We're on 20 the end of we're on our freaking Christmas gifts for 2021, you know? Parang I I I have so much to say, pero I'm gonna stop there muna. But
Ay,
to
pero
answer your
isa lang
question,
yon.
yes,
That's
to answer your
one.
question, no, it's na-realize ko kasi one kasi is ano eh, I attended it all started because I attended this program. It's called Leap. Have you heard of
Oh,
it?
I've heard, yes.
Uh,
Ano, leadership siya, di ba? It's a leadership
yes.
program.
It's they promote it. The people behind it, formerly known as OCCI. Now they're called Innovate. Great group. Love those guys. Galing nila. They're my mentors. They run this program. It's a trilogy actually. It's called Flex, ALC, Leap. For those of you who haven't heard Leap, maybe you've heard of Flex. Yun yung pinaka... Kasi ano yan eh, parang triangle yan eh, parang funnel. You start off with
Oo.
Flex, then you move up the ladder. And the ultimate goal, ako for me the ultimate goal is to finish it. Kasi if you don't finish it, parang bitin eh. Para ka lang nag-elementary nang hindi ka nag-college. Parang ganun yung vibes niya.
Okay, sige.
So essentially, this program changed my life. No exaggeration. I don't like mushy stuff and, but after going through this program, which was excruciating, by the way, because I got called out on so much of my own personal bullshit na it was painful, literally painful, to have to admit na parang, yes, I do have a lot of these self-limiting beliefs. I do have worthiness issues. And ultimately, that's what's keeping me from reaching my full potential, from unlocking my greatness. And kailangan ko aminin na ako talaga yung problema. Masakit siya kasi ang dami mo nang ginawa eh. Ang dami mo nang ginawa para maging
Mm-mm.
successful.
Oo.
Mula bata pa lang tayo, nag-i-invest na
Yes.
tayo in our future. We were
Mm-mm.
trained this way. These are the choices that we made para to have that good life that our parents and our families and our loved ones want for us. Tama yung ginawa natin eh. And yet,
Oo.
at the age of 30, why does something feel not quite right? Oo, sige. A lot of things are correct. Oo, tama. Hindi naman tayo nagbulakbol eh. Diba? Nagkatrabaho
Oo.
naman tayo. Matino
Yeah.
naman tayong top members ng society. So nothing's wrong, essentially. But deep down, when you go to bed at night, why does something not feel that it's where it's supposed to be? And ito yung sinasabi ko. Ako, on my end, it's the contentment eh. Na parang, bakit ganun? Bakit palaging may kulang? Bakit palaging may mali? And that's when I realized na parang, okay, something needs to change. I went through the trilogy, and Leap, that's what unlocked my mind to, ito na yung sinasabi nating perspective eh. Coming into the
Mm.
same day, dealing with the same shit, but having a different, sorry kung bawal mag-curse sa show mo
Hindi,
i-bleep
okay
mo na
lang.
lang
Go
ako.
lang.
I-bleep mo na lang ako. Pero, di ba, ito yung sinasabi ko eh. Ako, I had the exact same life. Nothing changed. Nothing changed that would make me happier on the outside. But on the inside, parang, teka lang, when you realize na, teka lang eto, I'll give you a thesis right now. The results of your life, the results that you achieve in your life will ultimately depend on the choices that you make. And the choices that you make are completely 100% under your control. So meaning your destiny, or whatever will become of you, is 100%, it sounds so cliche, but it's 100% out of your control. Meaning, pag may nangyari sa yung calamity, some sort of external factor that gets in your way, one, it's normal. So stop crying. And two, everyone deals with it and still find a way to succeed. And three, diba, it doesn't affect your choice. You always have a choice. People keep saying, wala akong choice eh. Kaya ito na lang. Wala akong choice eh. But you always have a choice. Yes or no. You always
Oo.
have a
Yes.
choice.
Oo.
Kailangan ko to gawin kasi yung family ko eh. Eh di, you chose your family. Yes, yun. You chose your family eh. You chose. Wala akong magawa kasi yung girlfriend ko ganito. Eh di, you chose your
Mm.
girlfriend. You still chose. Eh di ko naman pwedeng hindi piliin. Eh di, pinili mo siya. That's still a choice. Hello?
Yes.
Diba? And ako parang, at the same time, kaya ako frustrated. Not because of other people, but because of how I was before. And I felt trapped in my own body, in my own mind. Diba? And I felt like there were so many obstacles. But then suddenly, in a span of 2 years, kasi after nung leap, parang nag-self, pa ako eh. I went down this path of Stoicism, yun yung part 2 na nga. I read all these books. I read like a gazillion books on Stoicism, virtue, and they're all there in my shelf.
Oo.
Um, and dun na na-unlock yung mind ko na parang, oh my God, alam mo yun, I've been doing it wrong. I've been doing it right,
Oo.
but also wrong. And that's why. And I've
Parang
also been my
nagigets
happiest.
kita.
I've been
Nagigets
my
kita dyan.
happiest after that. Parang na-realize mo ba yun na parang yung power sa'yo, kunwari ikaw, Brents, ngayon, right now, where you're sitting right now, nothing has to change, only you. And you can be, it's not about choosing to be happy. Kasi for me, bullshit yun eh. Yung parang, oh, I choose to be happy today. Sorry sa mga ma-offend, pero hindi
Oo.
talaga. Sorry talaga, pero mababaw yan. I choose to be happy today. Why? Why do you choose to be happy today? Because you're more grateful? And because you're grateful and you're counting your blessings, then you feel happy? Okay, pwede yun. But you're not choosing to be happy. You're choosing to be grateful. Kaya ka naging happy. Happiness is a byproduct. It's a result. It's a result of the things we choose. If we know that we choose the right things, we choose to do good, happiness will come as a result. Pinili ko yung family ko eh. 'Di ba? Hassle. Hassle pero pinili ko yung family ko eh. Sinacrifice ko yung sarili kong gusto. Okay. How do you feel at night? Hindi mo nakuha yung gusto mo. So essentially, dapat hindi ka masaya, 'di ba? Pero bakit ganun? Bakit mas masaya ka before you go to bed at night? Because you chose your loved ones. You chose love. 'Di ba?
Yeah.
And that that is what will make you happy and has made me happy. Sorry kung ang haba na sinabi ko, pero
Oo.
I'm really, kumbaga ako, oh my God, alam mo yun, ang dali ko mabore, pero ito talagang na-unlock yung dugo sa veins ko eh, like just this one thing, I feel like nabuhay ako. Even now, I told you, di ba,
Hmm.
I'm not doing so well in a lot of departments that are very important to me. And it's
Yes.
affected me immensely na medyo nagpa-bad trip ako. Pero again, coming into this very important week in my year, it's great. It's just great. Ngayon natin na schedule to.
Oo. Hindi. Ano rin kasi, maybe you just needed reminding. Yun lang yun.
Ganun naman kasi. Minsan nakakalimutan din
Oo.
natin. Hindi naman
Nakakalimutan kasi.
exactly.
And parang the things that you have explained or you have shared, I've also gone through that. Ano nga parang minsan nga parang naiisip ko, ano ba to, rich girl problems, di ba? Or yung mga, like in your case, rich boy problems, ganyan. Pero, when we were going through that period of time, it was really difficult. Achieving a lot of things, but then not enough, not enough. Next, ano pa yung next? Ano yung next? And constantly chasing the next big thing, it can really be so draining. Kasi kailan siya mag-e-end, di ba? And in your case, you were able to have your realizations because of the programs, di ba, that you have joined. Sa akin naman, I found those realizations because of my journey sa mga retreats, sa spiritual direction, and even the experiences sa spiritual life. And parang babalik rin tayo sa sa pinanggalingan. That
What
there's
what changed?
always
What changed with you?
Knowing that I'm in control of my choices. And everything else, di ko na problema yan. Not my business anymore. If it's not my business, then di ko dapat sakit ng ulo yan.
Mm.
So that also works the same with family members wherein they make decisions that I don't agree on, that
Mm.
I don't like. Parang sa akin, it's none of my business anymore.
Mm.
If they made the choice that's totally against what I believe in, that's their choice. I
Mm.
have to make my own choice.
Mm.
Diba? So,
You
ano
can't
yun?
blame you can't blame other people kasi alam mo yun, parang
Oo.
minsan
Mm-mm.
human nature nandun na tayo eh. 'Di ba? Na parang it's so easy to say na parang nananahimik lang naman ako eh. But then, you know, these people get in the way. And it's true. Most of the time, 'di ba, Brins? It's true. But then wala eh. You can't be you can't be a victim, 'di ba? Once you put on the victim hat, wala na. May palusot ka na. Hindi
Oo.
ka na pala in control
Actually,
of your, 'di
yun,
ba, of your
yun
life.
nga. Yun nga.
Oh.
Parang for the longest time, I've been wearing that victim hat. Kasi
Mm.
yung ganang klaseng mentality. But then,
Mm.
it's not true.
Mm.
Parang yung sinasabi na no choice ako, yung parang,
Mm.
it's because I chose something that's, yung opposite ng hindi ko talaga kukunin na choice. But I
Mm.
made that choice.
Mm.
It's not
Yeah.
because wala akong choice. So that's, it's me reclaiming my power and being accountable for all the choices that I make in life.
Can you elaborate? Parang I want to hear more about this. Can you be more specific? Can you
Yeah.
share with
Like,
us the actual
mm,
part of your life where this transpired?
like, I am sure, alam mo rin naman na meron akong mga dad issues ko, di ba?
Mm.
I've always believed that he had this certain expectations of me, and because I want to meet those expectations, I made certain choices that
Saint
didn't
Jude ka, di ba?
really,
Saint Jude ka.
that
Yeah.
didn't make me that happy.
I think all the Saint Jude
So,
dads. Sorry, continue.
so, di ba, parang,
Expectations.
for the longest time, I was really held victim
Uh,
of that thought that
Not good
there are
enough.
expectations and I'm not being good enough, that I have
Yes.
to continuously strive for something. So there are worth issues. That's why in my counseling, yun yung forte ko.
Mm.
Most of the time, the people who really ask for my help, underneath, they also have worth issues.
Mm.
And because I was able to, deal with it and, was able to get that shift,
Mm.
change of perception and all those, I know how to help them and I also
Mm.
know how to empathize with them.
Mm.
Kaya malaki yung kasi it manifests in so many ways eh.
Yeah.
Daming expressions talaga ng self-worth issues.
Yeah.
So,
Dami expressions, and it happens, I think it affects almost everyone I know to different degrees and in different areas. But a lot of people's problems that manifest in their lives presently are a lot of them are based on worthiness issues. Sometimes you don't even know, 'di ba? But yan naman yun eh, not being good enough, having to work for their family's affection, 'di ba? Not feeling like you're worthy of the things that you have, that you're not worthy of good things to come to the future. Then you realize na parang the reason why I haven't achieved my goals is because on a subconscious level, I don't think I deserve to
oo.
reach them.
Yeah, saka yung parang it's me getting on my way.
Exactly. You're
Oo.
like, this is a classic, you are your own worst enemy. And that's usually the case. That's usually the case for a lot of us.
Oo. Kaya nga parang parang part of my journey rin right now is get out of my head. As in, get out of your head. Parang ang dami mong iniisip. Yan, parang just do the work. Yun lang. Just do the work rather than let the mind, control my emotions or whatever it is that's happening in my life. You know, when I got sick, as in when I was really, really sick, I got so mental. As in super mental talaga. Lahat na ng worries sa buhay, lumabas na. Parang, okay, I can't meet the deadline sa classes ko. Paano ko matutulungan pa yung students ko? I'm so down, nasa kama lang ako. Alam mo yun, ang daming ganyan. But then, now that I am quite well na and I'm working on it, parang, kaya pa naman. Parang, ba't ba ako sobrang natakot? Ba't ba ako
Mm.
sobrang nag-worry when I
Mm.
was sick? When now that I'm doing the work, parang kaya naman maghabol, kaya pa naman it's not the end of the world.
Mm. Mm.
There are bigger things in life.
Mm. I think one of the symptoms of the achiever syndrome is really that endless to-do list that, alam mo yun, like just gets blown out of proportion every now and then. And it
Mm-mm.
happens to, I think it happens to, again, speaking from my own ano naman, perspective and experiences, people who had to do really well in school. Dun pa lang
Oo.
eh, 'di ba? Dun pa lang eh, having to excel, and then you carry that with you all the way to your adulthood. Dun kakasabi mo lang eh, 'di ba? You concerned about your students. Yeah, okay, of course, very valid concern. But somehow, if you follow the trail, at the end of the path is, again, it's you maybe worrying that if you don't do really well, then you won't be loved. Do
Oo.
you think
Saka
that's
paano sila,
possible?
'di ba?
Yun eh.
Saka paano
Yun yung
sila,
noise
'di
na
ba?
sinasabi ko eh. Hindi, yun nga eh. Like I said, legit naman that you're concerned for your students. Very valid.
Mm.
Kasi syempre, they're counting on
Oo.
you. Pero at the same time, why does it feel so much worse than it is? Ikaw na nagsabi. Ikaw na nagsabi na nung tapos na, by the way, for everyone's information, Brendy was sick for the past 2 weeks. And so she's had a combination of the flu, of a fever, of cough and cold. And it's only recently that she started to feel better. Ito yung context ng sinasabi niya na when she got sick. So ngayon, she's back with us, back to the land of the healthy. And
Pabalik,
diba?
pabalik pa rin.
Yes, welcome back. And ito yun. So why did it feel so much worse at that time? It's because of
Oo.
all the noise that was telling
Yeah.
you na, if hindi mo magawa to,
Mm.
hindi
Mm.
ka worthy of, 'di ba? Hindi ka mamahalin
Oo.
ng mga tao kasi hindi ka magaling.
Yeah.
Hindi mo
Tapos
ginawa yung mga hindi mo
and to
ginawa
think it's the
assignments mo.
same. Tapos and to think it's the same day. Parang, 'di ba? It's just the same kind of day.
Yun
Parang whether
nga.
I was sick or not, it's the same day. But right now that I'm feeling so much better and actually doing the actual work na, parang okay, it wasn't that worrisome. It
Mm.
shouldn't have been that worrisome. So, yun yung change in perception.
So this
Which
is where
is,
I'd
which
like to
is,
come in with, oh, sorry, go
oo.
ahead. And then after, I'll say
Hindi,
something after.
pero this is, parang, ito tuloy yung naisip ko, okay, ito yung kailangan for the transformation. Na alisin mo lahat ng noise.
Right.
Aalisin mo talaga lahat ng noise. Para mangyari yung transformation na hinahanap natin, na gusto natin.
You know the definition of serenity.
Sige, what's your definition?
So I can't be bothered to remember the technical or proper definition, but essentially
Mm-mm.
the definition of serenity is knowing what things are really important, what are the things that you can't control, what are the things that you have to surrender, what are the things that you shouldn't care about.
Okay.
All in the moment, all
Oo,
in the
oo.
moment. So, okay, let me give an example. Nung may sakit ka, syempre na medyo na ano ka na, syempre may sakit ka eh. So, mapaparanoid ka talaga. Normal naman yun eh. Matatakot ka, malulungkot ka. Kasama yan eh if you're sick. So, and that happens to everyone, right? Where does serenity come in? At some point, syempre, you need to wake up to reality. We need to wake up to reality. We need to wake up to reality. And as people, how long does it take us to get there? How long does it take us to realize, okay, I was just being overly scared. I mean, I was gonna miss my deadlines, and my students were counting on me. And yeah, but at the same time, I was excessively worried. And ito lang yung tamang amount of worry I should put in this box. Kasi I need to love myself first so that I can recover. And it is myself when I am 100% healthy that will be able to help my students the best way. Because the quality of work that I will give them right now will be very subpar. So, di ba? So, the definition of serenity is knowing what it is to shut off so you can focus on what really matters. Kaya nga sinabi ko, di ba, Brins, yung concern naman natin na, oh, yung mga students ko, inaasahan ako, valid siya. Pero all the other noise needs to be quieted.
Oo.
And I'm saying na as human beings, lahat naman tayo nawiwindang eh. 'Di ba? Kumbaga yung kinuwento mo just now, it's a very human experience that I think everyone goes through. 'Di ba? I go through that. Like even it doesn't matter if I'm young or old na now, like I'm about to turn 37. I still go through that, yung panic, yung fear, 'di ba? Yung confusion. But the differentiating
Mm.
factor is how fast are you able to resolve all that crap that's in your mind and get to the bottom of things? Na parang, okay, you know what? This is what it is. And I'm gonna forget the useless things. I'm gonna put them aside. Diba? That's what serenity is.
Oo. Pero ngayon ba, are you,
Yan na tayo.
parang, hindi, mas na-achieve mo ba yung level of peace na yon?
Okay, kagaya nung sinabi mo, Brents, kanina, di ba? Na sometimes we need to be reminded. Yun din yung na-realize ko eh. Alam mo, like, I told you about the 2-year experience where I immersed myself like a scholar in all these concepts about virtue and stoicism. And sobrang laki na ng ulo ko nung time na yun, when I was talking to my friend. I was like, Besh, I was talking to my best friend. I was like, Besh, alam mo, grabe, sobrang feel ko nag-transcend na ako, feel ko zen na ako, feel ko, parang ang laki na ng ulo ko. And the truth is, looking back until now, I wouldn't call myself big-headed na masyado lang ako yung ego ko. No. At that point, I felt that I was the path to enlightenment was very clear to me at that moment. And I still feel that way now when looking back at that version of myself. It's just that it's just like anything. It's just like being a teacher or a student, being a Christian or a person. Diba? Just because you know it doesn't mean you're able to remember it every day, practice it every day successfully.
Yeah.
Makakalimutan natin, magkakamali tayo, magsistumble tayo, maybe we're gonna take a few steps back. Diba? But as human beings, kumbaga, that's kind of the point. That's kind of the point, is to, parang, okay, sige, maybe I'm not where I was hoping I would be, especially given where I was a year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago. Sometimes we feel like were we better in the past. That's so frustrating, ah. Like, share ko na lang rin. Source of frustration ko ngayon is, uh, type A people, like, ako formerly type A ako kasi ngayon medyo iba na ako eh. Pero whenever I get that feeling na parang, Mick, maybe you were better in the past. Doon ako sobrang, alam mo, Brents, that really affects me. That really makes me depressed. Pag nafe-feel ko yun, lalo na pag nababasa ko yung old journal entries ko, as to how, parang whenever I would read something and I feel so together, like I'm so composed, and I have my priorities straight, and my life was going so smooth, so much more smoothly than it is now, nakaka-frustrate talaga siya. Pero at the same time, parang, syempre, correct mo na lang yung sarili mo, di ba? Sino pa ba ang tutulong sa'yo? You need to, kumbaga, hindi mo na ipapasa sa family mo yung, di ba, or sa loved ones mo yung ganyang mga klaseng issues eh. You have to correct that yourself na parang, just because you stumble, it doesn't mean you're worse.
Yes.
You just
Actually,
keep
ano
reviewing.
siya, may explanation ako dyan eh.
Mm.
Kasi 'di ba, when you reach a certain level of let's say everything has fallen into place. Everything is good in your life. Like your goals are really well planned out, everything's working out. It's time to level up. So bibigyan ka talaga ng universe ng ng
Type of
something, ng bagong
problems.
situation that would shake that foundation, which would allow you to grow more. And once you find that new na level of comfort where everything is falling into place,
Mm.
you'll enjoy it for a certain period of time, but then level up ulit next eh. And
Mm.
that's the way life is, 'di ba? You have to constantly grow. You have to constantly evolve. And with us, with being human, parang hindi tayo mag-grow kung hindi tayo i-shake eh. Kasi we're so happy in our comfort zone, 'di ba? And it has become a comfort zone. That
Mm.
level of achievement, that whatever that situation is that you find yourself in. So, talagang hahatakin ka ng hahatakin pataas.
Mm.
So, just
Yeah.
because your foundations are being shaken again, it doesn't mean that ano, you were better before compared to now. It's just that meron bagong binibigay sa'yo and you have to grow again.
What if it's the same thing?
There's no such thing as the same thing.
Because
Siyempre, iba ang ibibigay sa'yo eh. Your level of consciousness would be growing. Should be growing. There has to be that depth. And when your level of consciousness has grown, then the way you see the same things, it's no longer the same. It's like
mm.
reading a book, 'di ba? Parang the first time you read it, okay, gets ko. Pero the second time going back into it because you have a different
Mm.
maturity level, different level of consciousness, a greater depth in
Mm.
terms of experience when you read that book again.
It's
But
a
parang,
different book.
oo, it's a different book, pero it's the same. Di ba? Pero bakit parang yung nakukuha kong message right now, it's different.
Mm.
So it's never the same.
Mm. Yeah, that's
So
how I
that
feel about when I read The Alchemist, because I read it every 2 years, and it's a different book every
Oo. So it's
because
that
it's a different me.
so it's a different level of consciousness, 'di ba? Kaya nga parang sinasabi ko, "Ay, medyo pareho kami ni Mike." Na parang kasi before talaga, especially during those MBA days, I was really trying to prove myself so much na hindi naman talaga kailangan, 'di ba? And then even after that, I was craving for more certification. 'Di ba? Parang ang excuse ko was I miss studying. I miss being in the classroom setup. But then it's not really that. It's because I want to have
Validation.
that level of validation, that achievement that I'm good enough. So it's the next best thing na, 'di ba? But then there came a point when it's not important. I know
Mm.
I'm good enough without even these certifications. As in lahat ng membership ko parang I won't renew. Not going to renew all of these. Then talagang drop. Parang I don't need this anymore. And it's me myself would be speaking for myself. It's not my certifications. It's not my achievements. It's me. So
Mm.
when people see me, when they talk to me, they're seeing the greatness in me. So yun. So
They're seeing
parang,
the real you,
oo.
the true.
Umabot
They're
na
seeing
ako sa
your
ganon.
truth.
Umabot
Mm.
na ako sa ganon na point na ko na kailangan ng anything that would validate me. Even choices would validate me.
Mm.
I'm going to make choices based on what I feel is right and what would bring me more happiness.
So I think the mantra there is you are enough.
Mm-mm. Yeah, the same as you, diba?
Mm. Yeah.
Na ganun din.
Yeah. Same.
So yung parang yung mga yung daily routines natin na feeling natin na pare-pareho. Parang hindi rin no?
Yeah.
It's actually not. Actually, I
Yeah.
also needed that reminder. Kasi parang I also feel that, alam mo yun, yung parang, ito na naman, mag-aaral na naman. And I'm dragging my feet. Kasi di ba, for me to be able to teach, I need to study. Parang, so parang ito na naman, mag-aaral na naman. So there's that sense of, parang that dragging effect.
Okay.
Ayun. So,
And
syempre nakaka-frustrate siya, di ba? Parang,
Okay.
nasaan yung joy? Nasaan yung joy out of, that would come out of study? Bakit
Mhm.
biglang nawala yun? Di ba?
And then,
Ayun. But,
how do you deal with that?
wala, you just do it. Parang yung mga ganun na feelings, parang have to take it away. Kasi additional noise siya na hindi kailangan.
Hmm. Yeah, see, that's something that's, I think, very relevant, no? Yung when it comes to work, the attitude and the perceptions towards work. Kasi okay, yeah, a lot of people find joy in their work. Not to say they don't. I'm sure that you do, and I know that you do. But it's just that you get these days where it feels like you just don't have your passion, you just don't have your energy, you just don't have, diba? You just don't have the spirit for it today. And I think you're right there. Because you just have to, you just gotta do it. Diba? Tama eh. Nasaan yung joy? Maybe wala yung joy today. Okay lang. Diba? Maybe iba yung hugutin mo. Maybe hugutin mo is responsibility or passion. Diba? Na maybe because you still love teaching and you love your students and diba? That's always going to be there. I don't think there's a day where you don't love diba? The spirit of education. Kumbaga. So, iba yung huhugutin mo. Hindi, diba? Sa iba,
Yeah.
responsibility, yun nga, they're counting on you, knowing that you're fulfilling, di ba, your duty to them. I don't know. Depende sa yun eh, kung anong huhugutin mo na virtue. But I do agree and believe that anything you do out of virtue, di ba, well, maybe while you're doing it, painful. Ito na yung sinasabi natin, the obstacle is the way. Sometimes what you thought was rewarding turns into an obstacle. It's weird how that happens, diba? Something that you found so fulfilling and something that you really love doing, which is teaching, on a different day, para siyang torture, diba? And parang nakakatawa siya isipin, nakakahiya siya aminin,
Mm-mm.
but at the same time, it's something that I think happens to everyone in everything that we do. And
Yeah.
so for me, doon na papasok yung, okay, hindi ko siya ma-enjoy today, so it's gonna be quite painful to do it because I'm gonna do it anyway. But what are your reasons for doing it? Are you doing it because you feel like you won't be worthy, you won't be enough if you don't do it? Or if you do it because of that, then at the end of the day, you're gonna feel exhausted and tired and sad. But if you
Oo.
do it because of virtue, not because of fear, if you do it because of courage and love, because if you do it because of out of love for your students, knowing that because you want to nurture them, their brains, their minds, diba? Then at the end of the day, you're gonna feel contented and happy. So the
Yeah.
intention will spell a huge difference in how you will feel after.
Oo. Actually, when I have those days, parang sabi ko, okay, ano na to? This is talagang huhugutin na talaga
Hirap nun.
yung duty.
Hirap nun.
Duty. As in, this is my duty. Just have to do this. Ganyan.
Pero you just that alone is it's a fine line eh, between duty and responsibility, 'di ba? Even responsibility versus obligation. Parang
Oo.
that's such a fine line kasi if you say duty and let's say obligation, parang I don't know ako 50-50 ako dun.
Oo.
Versus a sense of responsibility and love. 'Di ba? Kasi
Siyempre,
for
mas
me,
maganda pa rin. Of course, it's better
oo.
if it's really love, diba? Kung doon ka
Better
nakatayo.
and harder kasi hindi yun yung default. Kasi 'di ba, ang default natin is duty. Kailangan mo
Oo.
gawin 'yan. 'Di ba? Trabaho mo 'yan eh. 'Di ba? Assignment mo 'yan, eh,
Yeah.
kailangan mong gawin 'yan. O yun yung default natin, the being raised, 'di ba? From the time we were raised as kids, yun na yung mindset eh. Gawin mo 'yan,
Mm-mm.
duty mo 'yan eh. Dapat mo lang gawin 'yan.
Oo.
So, 'di ba? It's all about I think as we venture into, 'di ba, full adulthood. Nandun na tayo eh. Yun eh, yung parang how do you transition from doing it because it's your duty, because it's our duty. How do we find a way to do it out of just love na lang, 'di ba? Out of love?
Kung saan naman lalabas yung love, 'di ba? Kung
Pusa
saan
nga
naman
ba? Akin hindi eh.
oo,
Sa akin hindi.
kung
Sa
saan
akin, I
naman
have to choose it.
lalabas.
Sa akin, I have to choose it. I have to actively choose it. It's a
Kasi
choice
at
for
the
me.
end kasi at the end of the day, when I evaluate my activities, syempre hindi naman everyday pass ako, 'di ba? There are days when I feel that medyo fail ka dito, medyo pasang-awa ka dito kasi parang hindi gano'n ka okay yung nagawa. But then, because, at the end of it all, I still love what I do. So that's where I find the strength again. Sige, gawin ulit natin to the next day. Kasi it's an everyday thing na eh. I wouldn't even say that this is only a weekday kind of work. Kahit weekend, alam mo yun, it's part of my life na to study, learn new things,
Pero okay
and
ka naman.
to teach that. Oo.
Okay ka naman. Masaya ka naman.
Mm-mm. Yeah.
Okay.
Masaya
Alright.
naman, syempre, di ba?
So it's just those days that you have to deal with. Those
Yes.
off days, kumbaga.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, okay.
Kasi
That's normal.
kasi alam ko naman na it could have been better. Di ba? Pero I got in my own way.
Mm.
So doon pumapasok yung frustration. Pero alam ko naman na hindi dapat ma-frustrate.
Mm.
It shouldn't be that way. Diba? Parang go with just the flow. Sometimes, parang iniisip ko nga, parang cliche yata yung go with the flow. But then, there are days when things are really just in the flow. Diba? Nandun ka lang sa zone. And on those days, wala masyadong iniisip. You're just doing the work.
Mm. When you say go with the flow, two different interpretations come to mind. One is what you were talking about, which is flow, the the state of being in flow with your work, where everything just seems to be going so smoothly, and you get so immersed in it that you forget about everything else that's outside. You
Mm-mm.
ignore distractions and you just get so focused. That's
Oo.
flow for work. And there's also the going with the flow in terms of surrendering and trusting in the universe, the wisdom of the universe.
Oo. Pero
There's also
halos
that.
pareho siya eh, 'di ba? Kung iisipin mo. Kasi when you're in the flow and you're just so focused, you're actually surrendering. Wala ka masyadong worries. Hindi ka
Hmm,
nag-iisip ng nag-iisip. Wala
pwede.
kang, 'di ba? Parang na-eliminate mo siya.
Pwede. I do feel like there might be a thread that connects them. Um, surrender and parang ano yan eh, parang 3D yan eh, feeling ko. So may definitely there is a thread that connects those concepts. I do get what you're saying there, and I do agree with you.
Saka ano rin, ito rin yung realization ko na, okay, we want to always achieve something, 'di ba? To transform in some ways. But then, without even realizing it or being unconscious of it, we are being transformed every moment.
Mm, definitely, definitely.
Tapos
Um,
one day, magugulat ka na lang na, oh,
yeah.
okay, may nagbago na pala. Alright, may nagbago na pala.
Okay.
So,
Anong context nito? Bakit natin na pag-usapan to ngayon? Is it because of trust?
hindi. Kasi, di ba, there are times when we feel that nothing's going on in our lives. Parang it's just the same
Mm,
all day. Everything's just the routine, ganyan. But then, unconsciously, without us really knowing,
mm.
there's already changes happening.
So
Tapos,
this is about trust. It's about trusting that good
trusting
things are
the,
happening despite it seeming that they're not.
oo, yeah.
Yeah. And that
And then,
also, I think that is
oo,
connected to going with the flow as well. So
mm.
yeah.
Saka ano rin, kasi 'di ba for me, parang kaya nga this month the topic or the theme is about transformation. Tapos I started off this month thinking, okay, ano ba yung mga important things for me to be able to transform? And that's also the, parang yun din yung mga pinag-uusapan namin ng mga previous guests. And then now, parang after having this conversation with you, dun lang pumasok na, okay, even if I don't realize pala, or even if I'm unconscious of all the changes that's happening in my life, there is transformation that's happening every moment, every single moment. And ano lang, it's just for me, tama ka, trust the process, that, just to surrender. And when you come into realization that there is a transformation, doon na lang magugulat na. Kasi hindi naman bigla mangyayari yun eh.
Hmm. May
Unti-unti
question,
na siya
may question
nangyayari.
ako sa'yo. Do you feel that some people transform more than others? Or
Yes.
okay, why? What determines the amount of transformation that somebody goes through or ends up having?
Yung surrender nila. Kasi gagawin lang nila eh, di ba? Parang without so much, without so much noise.
Pwede,
So in that way,
resistance.
mas
Uh,
mabilis. Mas
Pwede.
mabilis.
Yes, I do agree with you there. And I also think that you mentioned this kanine about how the obstacle is. And I feel like any worthwhile transformation or any life changing transformation can only be achieved through one thing, and that is pain. It sounds not physical pain, hindi ka to-torture,
Oo.
no? Pero hindi siya, it can come in any form. It
Mm-mm.
can come in any form. An obstacle that you have to go through, people that you have to deal with, the problems that you have to overcome, diba? As simple as something as literal as working out and you destroying your muscle tissue and over and over again for you to get stronger and fitter and bigger and diba?
Mm-mm.
There will be no transformation without pain. It's so the more amount of pain you deal with and you overcome, diba? Not all pain na. Ito,
Oo.
disclaimer.
Yeah.
Not all pain. Kasi may mga pain na um, unnecessary.
Yes.
Meron mga iba, unnecessary pero unavoidable. Sad. Kasi this is a reality, especially in a developing country like us, like ours, where, diba, people have to deal with issues such as poverty. And may mga unavoidable pains na, we all
Mm-mm.
wish that, we could help um, just lift them off of your, ano na, your lives. But then, I'm talking about pain that comes with transformation. And there will be no transformation without pain. And so going back to the concept of surrender and trust, kahit na masakit, kahit na mahirap, if you push through, surrender, trust in the wisdom of the universe, accept those, di ba, face those things that you're afraid of, those lingering doubts in your mind, those fears, confronting those fears, make sure you don't decide out of fear, making sure you move forward with courage and love. And at the end of that, you're gonna come out a lot better.
Oo. Saka parang sa umpisa lang yung pain. Alam mo yun? Kasi
Mm.
once you've really surrendered and nakapag-adjust ka na,
Yes,
yung something painful, it's no longer as painful
because
as what you have thought before.
pain is the instrument, right? The obstacle is the way, right? And
Oo.
whereas the person who was too scared to confront it is still there dealing with their demons in the same spot as you were before. And ikaw nakapag-transform ka na onto the next ka na. Diba?
Yeah. Siyempre, on to the next, tapos another level of pain.
Another, diba? Another obstacle, another set of
Mm.
another phase of
Another
growth.
obstacle to understand.
Yeah, sometimes
Another
it feels like
obstacle
it's
to
the same
understand.
obstacle. Like in my case, it feels like it's the same obstacle all over again. But you're right, eh. Parang it's a different me, and so it might seem the same, but maybe it is different. I don't know. That brings me some sort of comfort, knowing that yeah, it is a different me dealing with it. You know, when I dealt with
Oo.
it the first time, I didn't know all of this, so I just had to be reminded again. through this session, um, of all the tools I have in my bag
Oo.
to deal with
Saka
this.
parang na-realize ko rin na, o nga 'no, sobra talagang mental, sobrang mental. Ang daming thoughts, ang daming noises, ang daming all these things that we keep on thinking of. Kasi 'di ba what we think, lalo na 'pag negative thought patterns, it also affects our emotions, brings us
Mm.
down. So,
Nag-mani-
malaki yung effect
Nag-manifest.
nun.
Nag-manifest yan.
Oo. So, parang the key is to be aware of the noise para cut off na siya sa umpisa pa lang.
Serenity.
Oo, serenity. Ay,
I
may
mean,
serenity prayer. Yeah, reminds me of that.
right. Yeah, diba? I mean, it's a pretty, I would say, common and often recited prayer. But at the same time, if you think about it, it's not that easy to apply. And not a lot of people are able to apply it successfully. And I guess that's why we're praying. We pray
Oo.
for us to reach that level, diba? That level of serenity,
Oo.
just so we can be, one, a lot happier, and two, a bigger blessing to other people.
I'm sure papunta ka na rin naman doon.
Yeah, I know it. Like ako, I know it. I know that that's the case for you. I believe that that's the case for me. I have faith that everything that happens, is taking us to a better place. I also believe, though, um, to balance it off, not everything is just going with the flow, surrendering to the universe. A lot of it is also choosing, making
Yeah.
the right choices for yourself and for your loved ones. And this is something that's so challenging kasi mo tayo minsan ang default natin is ano eh, takasan na lang natin eh, ay, diba, hindi ko na cargo yan, or I didn't have a choice, or diba, whatever. But man, this is the work we gotta put in. We gotta make the right choices every day in and day out, diba? That's and I think that's the point. That's the whole point of life, in my opinion.
Yep. That's parang yes, there's one part that we have to surrender, but then there's also the other part where we have to do the work.
It's balance. It's just a balance.
Oo. So it's more doing, less thinking.
Again, serenity, diba? It all
Yeah.
goes back to serenity. What are you gonna choose? The things that you can control. What are you gonna
Mm-mm.
surrender? The things that you can't control. That's your
Yes.
formula. And with that,
Oo.
you will have serenity. You will feel joy. You will have serenity because makaquiet yung mga useless thoughts and yung mga useless worries, yung mga futile worries. And you will feel joy because you know that the things that you could have done something about or you could have controlled, you made the right choices. And so you will feel joy. And what's the end result? Diba? You will be at peace and you will be happy.
Yeah. And of course, that's what we all want. Feel that level of peace.
And imagine if every single person in the world had access to that and is able to feel that, even for a moment, wouldn't the world just be such a better place?
Yes. So pag bumalik na ako sa pag-facilitate ng meditation, join kayo.
Sure.
Ngayon kasi parang weak pa ang
Count me in.
body. Di pa kaya, di pa kaya. But then
Count me in.
when I'm back to doing the guided meditations, I'll be more proactive in inviting people. Oh,
Sure.
ganun eh.
Sure. I'm game.
All right.
I'm game.
Mm-mm. Sige. So, that's the end of our conversation, and I hope that this catch up has also helped you guys in some ways. I know it did. Kasi even I needed reminding na kailangan talaga less thoughts, more doing. And of course, serenity. That's the goal in life. Be at peace and of course happy. Diba? So I wish you all well and I hope to see you again. God bless everyone.
Choose love.